Good morning. It is Thursday. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of jump into episode 10. I know I thought the last one was going to be the final, but then I kind of realized I do what I always do and kind of gloss over everything. There's just so much more. I gave you like a couple of examples, but to be honest, it goes way deeper. Um, I tend to like self-sabotage too. I push people away. Um, yeah, I push my boundaries till like they've had enough. And yeah, but I will say, I do have to give my ex-husband credit. When we met when we were 21, we both worked at Kroger in the accounting office, and we were actually, to be honest, we didn't like each other at first. I walked into the accounting room and I was like, hey, you're supposed to train me today. And he was like, okay. Well, mind you, I had worked for Kroger for 6 years. I had been an accountant for 5 of those years. I knew how to do all of it. I just needed to know where their stuff was in their accounting room. So, anyways, as we were working, like, he was just pointing to where stuff was. No talking, no nothing, being a complete asshat. So, at the end of the shift, he said, if you already knew how to do it, then why did I have to train you? And I was like, well, maybe if you had asked, I could have told you I had already done this for 5 years, and we could have saved a lot of trouble, and you could have just shown me where everything was. And I turned around and I walked out. We didn't talk after that. Actually met his brother, and him and I became friends, and his brother's wife or girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and her and I became friends, and he just kind of came along with everything, and we all four kind of hung out, and he was a little nicer then. And once they had the baby, it was kind of like, okay, let them have some time with the baby and stuff like that. And him and I started hanging out, and we became friends after that. And it was just like we started dating just because. I mean, and I don't even, it was more like just like friends, you know. And the abuse with my mom was getting worse, and I decided like I needed to move out. And he was like, well, I'm 21, I should probably move out of my house too, because 21, at some point you have to kind of move out of your parents' house and stuff like that. And we decided, okay, well, we'll get an apartment together. And then we were like, well, why get an apartment when you can get a house if you're going to pay that much money? And we decided, okay, well, let's get a house together. And we had kind of started dating at that time, and we were like, well, it's cheaper to get a refi on a house than it is to get a divorce, because we had kind of talked about, being serious and stuff like that. And so we bought a house together. And about 2 years in, or I'm sorry, no, let's get to the good part. I told my mom, and my mom was infuriated. She literally just starts punching me in the face, pulling out handfuls of hair. I didn't fight back because I said I would never be that person. Mind you, I'm 21 years old. She burnt me with a curling iron because she had a curling iron in her hand at that time. And she wouldn't stop. I grab my keys and I go to walk out the door, and she pulls me back by my hair, trying to get me to stay in the house. and I literally open the door and just yank as hard as I can to get out of the house. And I pull the skin off the top of her foot because her foot was trying to shut the door. And I just take off running to my car. And I leave. And the new house, we had just signed the papers that day. I didn't tell her till after I signed the papers because I knew it was going to be some kind of reaction like that. So Matt was already at his brother's house, so I met him there. And my mother shows up and comes beating on the door. And of course, his brother comes out and is like, "You need to get off my property." And she's like, "I need to speak to April, blah, 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 blah." So I come out, and I guess Matt's listening through the garage, and she's like up in my face, and he thought she was about to hit me. So he comes running out, gets in her face, starts screaming and cussing at her. And from that day on, she never laid a finger on me again. And he saved my life. And I will forever be thankful for that. Because I didn't have the strength to do that. Because she was my mom. And it changed everything for me. I didn't have the strength or the self-confidence or the self-worth to be able to stand up for myself in that situation. So I will be forever thankful for him. Now, the marriage didn't work out, and we'll get into that in future spots, but he saved me, and I am thankful. So, if you ever find that person that saves you, be grateful and thankful, because it's so important. And if you can be that person for somebody, and you can stand up, and now that's why all I do is try to practice kindness and help others, because they may not be able to stand on their own 2 feet. They may not be able to speak and get out of the situation that they're in. And I will be forever thankful. So, just know I love you and I care. And if you ever need anything, I'll be there. Because that gave me the confidence that day to stand up for myself and speak and use my voice.